Are you ready, wank pheasants? Aye, aye, Captain. I can't hear you. Aye, aye, Captain. Oh.
Who is an incredibly sweaty nutty?
Sweaty bastard!
So sweaty and wetty disgusting is he?
Sweaty bastard!
He's the best in the world, but he really is not.
Sweaty bastard!
His head is so shiny, he always looks hot.
Sweaty bastard!
Sweaty bastard. Sweaty bastard. Sweaty bastard. Sweaty bastard.
WTF! WTF!
Bonjour, je m'appelle Ross Twiddell from Cultaholic.com and welcome to all the WTF moments from Money in the Bank 2019. A show that was like Rachel from Friends' massive, dirty, stinking trifle. Both the ladder matches, they were good. The resurrection of Bayley's career, that was good. AJ Styles versus Seth Rollins, underwhelming slightly, but still good. Kofi versus Kevin, underwhelming slightly, but still good. But then we get to the dirty, disgusting, unwanted slab of beef in the middle of that lovely sweet trifle, and that came in the form of Brock Lesnar. Oh, and we need new refs as well. So all the way back to the kickoff show we go, and Charlie Caruso introduces Sam Roberts, and Sam Roberts, sit down everybody, Sam Roberts was nice to a female on a WWE show. I tell you what, there's a first time for everything, isn't there, Samuel L. Craphair? David Otunga is a really unlikable man. He is definitely the kind of man who stands right in front of the bathroom mirror every single day of the week and necks on with himself just because he thinks he's that damn sexy. Anyway, he claimed that Charlie Caruso was wearing money green on the kickoff show last night, and in that same vein, confirmed that he is a money launderer and deals in bare fake cash. So if you come across a lime green dollar bill with David Otunga's ugly mug right in the middle of it, wipe your ass with it. And next up we have Jonathan Coachman, who claimed that he didn't want to be thrown into a dumpster like Sami Zayn was by Braun Strowman on Raw not so long ago. And when Jonathan Coachman said those words, I'm sure I wasn't the only person asking, why the hell would you throw a dumpster into another dumpster when it's already a dumpster? That painting there is a dirty slut. It doesn't matter who you are, but if you have a pulse, that painting there, it'll swoop right into your room, the dirty bastard. But this has to be the biggest stamp of approval in that painting's life, because Lacey Evans, she's a lady. She doesn't like ugly people like me, yet that painting is on her wall right next to a hat, which means, everybody, that painting is fit. Now, I don't know about you, but I love the fact that now Shane McMahon is a bona fide diddler. In the Cultaholic Wrestling podcast sense of the word, of course, he's a daddy's boy. Not that kind of daddy, you sick freak. He's a daddy's boy that was handed everything in life, and he was born with a silver spoon in his sweaty mouth, when the reality of the situation is Vince McMahon doesn't even like Shane. Vince McMahon never said he was proud of Colonel McSweaty Bollocks, who of course is the best professional wrestler in the world today, until WrestleMania 32, 3 and a bit years ago. Just look at the way Vince McMahon tweets to John Cena in comparison to the way he tweets to Shane McMahon, the best professional wrestler in the world today, who came right out at the end of his genetic jackhammer. I hate him. He's a sweaty bastard. People shouldn't sweat. You should control the pores in your forehead, he probably said once upon a time. And here's a direct quote from Jonathan Coachman, who said, let's send it down to ringside, Tom Phillips, Byron Saxton and Renee Young. What you say? Shut up, Coachman, that's not me. Now, I caught some of the SmackDown Live from old London town last week, and so the bio-eco-friendly Ethanol and his little bearded pal forgot their SmackDown Live Tag Team Championships because, and I thought, because they were made from the arse end of Doreen the cow, and they want to save the planet, so you can't be wearing leather from the arse end of a cow. Well, call me Pete Tong, because I was wrong, because Daniel, Bryan and Rowan had their tag team titles once again on the kickoff show for last night's Money in the Bank, proving they are just silly billies who forgot them, and they're also hypocrites as well. A quick reminder now that Survivor Series is the only time of the year where the superstars of Raw and SmackDown Live go head to head. Ignore that. Made a grave mistake, Corey. So So Corey Graves calls Patrick Starr incompetent, and I just cannot believe that Corey Graves, a professional broadcaster supposedly, would comment on something he clearly doesn't watch and therefore clearly knows nothing about. Well, Corey Graves, my pal, you go and watch episode 7 of Smarty Pat, the Patrick Starr sitcom, and come back at me, bro, and tell me he's incompetent. He's really clever, man. Cultaholic signs everywhere at Money in the Bank 2019. Thank yous go out to Joey Mendez and Ian the Mammoth, but there is an issue we need to address. Now, you might have seen the subscribe to Cultaholic sign on the front row during Carmella's entrance at the start of last night's main show, but WWE, the bastards, they confiscated it. Lake Jadou, I think I've said that right, the man with the sign, was absolutely devastated, and I just don't get it. I thought Cultaholic and WWE, we were best friends, we've been round the house for tea and everything.
Yep, I wrong. Yep, I wrong.
And here's a direct quote from Byron Saxton. Daniel Bryan also called the tag team division full of a bunch of jokes, including Usos, which doesn't make sense to me. Byron Saxton should only be allowed to commentate on Kofi Kingston matches because everywhere else he is a cataclysmic numpty. Now, you know how piss poor the tag team division is in WWE today, so we don't need to go through all that, but what I've got to say is two things here. Ooh, they're shaving their backs. That's pretty gay. In their opinion, not mine. One friend helping another. What's the issue here? Also, their willies are on fire. It's a joke, full of jokes, Byron. Rowan does a jackhammer now, does he? What are the chances of that? Oh no, wait there, everybody. There's a dirty, dirty Saudi Arabia show. Who's on that dirty, dirty Saudi Arabia show? I hear you ask. Well, Goldberg is. And Goldberg made the jackhammer very famous. So I wonder why Erick Rowan, did the jackhammer. You know when you see a car crash but you can't help but just look at it. Look at all the dead bodies in the burning fire. Undertaker versus Goldberg, dirty Saudi Arabia show. It's going to be a mess. Charles, and your money green dress. AJ Styles versus Seth Rollins for the first time ever. You're missing a crucial part of that one, pal. Now, this was a horrible mistake for WWE themselves to make in the first place, but for you to do it again after they amended it on past Raws in the past, that's unforgivable. Now, I don't know about you at home, but my face was the same colour as Charlie's dress when she made the error on the kickoff show last night because I was sick. So the kickoff show came to the end and the advertised Cruiserweight Championship match didn't happen. Now, I know this was a good thing because the match took place on the main card instead of the kickoff show like it always does, but I can't have been the only one thinking at the end of the kickoff show that WWE just forgot about the Cruiserweight match because they're so small. They're little tiny men. Watch when you're walking about. You might stop on one of them just because they're so small.
What she say? Say, shut up, Renee. What she say? Say, shut up, Renee.
So get this right, Renee Young just realised last night at Money in the Bank 2019 that Mandy, is getting a bit too big for her boots, and an ego might be an issue. Because absolutely nothing about her character to date over the past few years has made that clear now, has it, Renee? Has. A line from the commentary table. Nobody has been in more Money in the Bank ladder matches than Natalya. Another line from the commentary table. Carmella won the first 2 women's Money in the Bank ladder matches. And I'm sat there thinking, well, you're right, WWE, but it's a weird way of phrasing it when some of the matches have had the same people in all the way through. Pointless stat. And next up we have Byron Saxton, who claimed that Natalya told him that her consistency means she's a threat in that ladder match last night, which makes no sense because she consistently loses and she never consistently wins. Why has she been eating her cat's nips? Catnip. Sasha's remained on Raw, has she, Charlie? What the hell has she been up to? I don't feel like I've seen her last since WrestleMania 35. Oh no, that's because I haven't. Because she went home after WrestleMania 35. The company gave her time off to mull over her future. She's due back soon. Stop treating us like we're tits who can't read. Finally, we find out who the real hunchback of Notre Dame is at Money in the Bank last night, because the only way Samoa Joe's shoulders could have been clasped flat on the mat is if he was medically described, is that the right terminology? I don't know, as a pissing hunchback. Diagnosed is the word. Maybe. At no point during that 3 count were those shoulders flat on the mat, and I am insulted that we're here bare time after Kurt Hawkins proved that he's the best referee in the history of professional wrestling, and Kurt Hawkins still is not refereeing every single match in a WWE ring. But let's forget about that oversight on WWE's part for a second. Let's spare it for Samoa Joe at this testing time. I really hope that one day he gets out there. And now it's time for this.
Wankity maggle, wankity maggle, wankity maggle, wankity maggle. Wankety maggle, wankety maggle, wankety maggle.
So Maggle Cole claims that Ronald Mysterio has a teenage son, and I don't know my Dominic facts as well as this man does. This man called Rocky J. Rocky J. Rocky Johnson. Dwayne The Rock Johnson. The Rock watches WTF. He's 22 though, is Dominic. And last time I checked, that's not a teenage age. And back to Maggle we go once again, who claims that it's Shane who's trapped between the ropes and the cage. But Maggle, one is tanned and dry, the other is pasty and sweaty, and you don't need me to tell you which of those is the best professional wrestler in the world today. So do not make schoolboy errors like that, because it couldn't be more obvious.
-5 stars!
Frog splash. Now I know that you there at home have tuned into this video to see me rant about a referee who doesn't know the rules of professional wrestling, because when Sweaty McBollocks reached for the rope to break a submission, he didn't count it. But when Sweaty McBollocks reached for the same rope to break up a pinfall, he did for some reason. But let me tell you, let me open your eyes and put you into new horizons, new perspectives and whatnot. A heel Shane McMahon, who of course is the best professional wrestler in the world today, and a dirty, stinking, great Sweaty McMahon, him paying off referees to give him bogus calls like that, that's fine by me. It's when that kind of bollocks was happening when he was a bona fide babyface and we were expected to cheer that absolute bollocks. That's what made my nipples dance back in the day. So I hope that Shane McMahon paying off the referees to make bogus calls like that one did in the cage last night gets referenced on SmackDown or Raw wildcard ting this upcoming week, and it eventually builds to a match where no ordinary referee will do. We need the best referee. We need the most baked potato referee in the world. We need special guest George Miz referee. Needs to happen. But we might as well. Let's address the finish to that match, because it was absolutely ingenious. Finally being the sweatiest prick in the world ever pays off for Colonel McSweaty Bollocks. Fantastic stuff.
What she say? Say, shut up, Renee.
But winning a cage match, according to Renee Young, by merely escaping it, isn't a proper victory. Ding dong daddy. Now if I looked like that, and I was the best professional wrestler in the world today, and I was a McMahon, I would have my shirt off all the time. So why doesn't Shane? Now normally I would be like, new titles in WWE, that's the last thing that's wrong with the show. We don't need them, but I'm hoping for one of two things. First of all, a WWE Network Championship as defended 24/7. You sat in bed late at night one night, you get notification from your network app. So-and-so is defending or challenging for the WWE Network Championship. You stream it live. It's fantastic stuff. Or hopefully, they're unifying the tag team titles, getting rid of one of them, and just having a World Tag Team Championship, one division, because there's that many jokes in it, Byron Saxton. I mean, that wouldn't explain why Mick Foley's going to be there, but surely WWE in 2019, with all the sponsors and whatnot, are surely not going to bring back the hardcore division. I would like to see it, but I can't see it happening. Or maybe, and we just can't rule this out, boys and girls, by bringing in a new title, WWE are just going to start to refer to themselves as Mr. or Mrs. or Miss, or maybe even Sir. Sammy must have had a rough night. He's hanging. Shane McMahon, who of course is the best professional wrestler in the world today, sweats in the face of the people who tried to use the cool bond. Now imagine if you could squint your voice like you can squint your eyes and sort of make something look different to what it actually looks like. Ariya Daivari sort of sounds like Alberto Del Rio. Ariya Daivari. No, it doesn't. I am just disgusted and appalled that WWE didn't use Ariya Ferrari. Mercedes? Ariya Mercedes? What's as good or better than WrestleMania? It's Super Showdown. Yes, Saudi Arabia, your dirty trillions of dollars that buys you wrestlers we've never really seen before. Matchups that should have happened 25 years ago and gives us a horrible house show that nobody really wants to watch, but they watch anyway for some strange reason. That's better than WrestleMania. All the best to you.
What she say? Say, shut up, Renee.
Here's a direct quote from Renee Young. Becky's not had to watch on Lacey Evans. Ooh, wow, ah. Direct. Renee Young, are you seriously suggesting that Becky Lynch, one of the faces of WWE today, does not have a subscription to the award-winning WWE Network where she could have watched a fair whack of Lacey Evans' 170 plus matches in a WWE ring? Scandalous. And next up we have Michael Cole calling a Bexploder a Bexplex, because oh my god guys, isn't it just so cool guys? Oh my, Bexplex sounds so much more cooler than a Bexploder. Die in a bin. They say that masturbation, it makes you blind. So why the hell was every single referee under WWE's employ having 55 knuckle shuffles before the show kicked off last night? There were so many mistakes from those useless zebras during last night's show, with the worst of them being perhaps that roller from Lacey Evans not being acknowledged at all. Lord, it was nasty. She probably would have said backstage. Just imagine for a second, if you will, if Becky Lynch has been paying off referees like Shane McMahon, who of course is the best professional wrestler in the world today, because that's what that looked like there to me.
Made a grave mistake, Corey.
Here's a direct quote from Corey Graves. I've got a great vision plan on my health insurance here. Now, I'm not making this a mistake because it was a mistake on Corey Graves' part. I'm making it a grave mistake because WWE are arse backwards. Those in the ring, no health insurance. Those outside the ring and in the nice, warm, lovely offices at WWE HQ in Stamford, Connecticut, they do have health insurance. Now, I know that Corey Graves has been through some hardships himself with his head and whatnot, but I'm sure that when he said that, sat at ringside in his nice suit, in his comfortable chair, those lads and lasses who are still breaking their backs backstage were over the piss and moon with them. Bloody hell, everybody, after over 13 years of Money in the Bank cash-ins, Mike Chioda has finally worked out how those cash-ins actually work. It's a Christmas miracle. Now, if you want to see the most infuriating few minutes of WWE TV ever, go back to when Carmella cashed in her briefcase and just see how confused Mike Chioda, the senior official in WWE apparently, gets. He's come a long way. Well done, Mike. So just before Elias slaps Roman's nuts, Tom Phillips pipes up and says, whoa, the match between the big dog and the drifter is to finally find out who is truly the greatest acquisition in SmackDown Live history. How many pissing times do we have to go through this, Tom Phillips? Vince McMahon was out there himself and he said, yeah, it's the greatest acquisition in SmackDown Live history. It's Elias. Vince said he owns the company, he pays you. But in the process of seeing Elias slap Roman's nuts with a guitar, we see the big dog is heading the wrong way down the corridor. Now, if WWE didn't show Elias walking on the same direction Roman was, then emerging at the side of the rampway, they would have got away with it. But they didn't. Roman Reigns, despite the fact he was up next, was walking away from the entrance ramp. Where the hell was he going? I'm a hack, so I know. Somebody threw a lovely green tennis ball down the corridor, so he had to chase it because he's a big dog.
Made a grave mistake, Corey.
So Seth Rollins wallops AJ Styles upside the head and Corey Graves shouts, does AJ Styles even know what planet he's on right now? And I'm saying, does AJ Styles ever know what planet he's on? Because he thinks this one, we're on right now, he thinks there's a chance it's flat, for Christ's sake. Lars Sullivan, fined by WWE. Lars Sullivan sent to sensitivity training by WWE. Lars Sullivan booked by WWE to beat up some Mexicans for no reason whatsoever. It's working, and at this moment right here, Tony Atlas's willy became erect. But why the hell did Kevin Owens take off both of Kofi Kingston's shoes and not do anything even remotely close to damaging Kofi Kingston's exposed feet? Maybe the K in KO actually stands for kinky. Finn Balor forgot he's Intercontinental Championship, and I don't know why. You should ask him. That sunset powerbomb by Andrade. Stick a fork in me. I'm done, daddy. Now, as good as that was, what was more impressive, and I think this was the first one, I missed Raw and SmackDown last week, so I don't know, was the first ever Yowie Wowie chant. I want more Yowie Wowie chants. This is awesome. Go in the bin. So next up we have the moment where Andrade and Ali do a Spanish fly off the ladders and Michael Cole screams at the top of his voice, what's wrong with these guys? He should be taken out the back, shot in the head, and turned into glue. As if the bloke still needs this explained, they are killing their bodies, putting it all on the line for an 82% chance at winning a championship when they cash in their briefcases. It's worth it. WWE superstars are complex things. They watch television like this, they can all edit a film together like Steven Spielberg, and they also have to play musical statues when somebody else's music hits and they're in the middle of the ring. Ali, the poor bastard, was stuck like that for roughly 7 hours while Brock Lesnar made his entrance in the main event of last night's show, and there's nothing he could do about it. What does Vince McMahon do to his superstars, which means every single one of them has to play musical statues when somebody else's music hits? They're not normal human beings, are they? Don't worry, they're not wrestlers. They've got health insurance probably. That doesn't matter that Brock Lesnar wiped them all out with ladders flying here, there and everywhere. Careful, Brock. And we end with what has to be potentially the biggest WTF moment of the night. No, it wasn't Brock Lesnar appearing. It was Brock Lesnar winning. He's Mr. Money in the Bank now. WWE sent the fans home happy. They always put smiles on faces, don't they? You go through 4, 5, 6 years of the same old bollocks, everyone gets bored, he goes away again, everyone becomes happy. I know the TV ratings haven't been the best, but when are they? They weren't when Brock was there. But what do you do when everyone's thinking, yay, the beast's gone forever? You bring him back and just about crown him. There's an 82% chance, of course, he'll be the next Universal Champion. That's what we all want in it. Come on. Yeah, and it was a shame because I thought Money in the Bank, the short matches aside, there was too many of them, I thought. It was a really fun show. A bit underwhelming in places, but fun all the same. Just ruined at the end. Shame. Ta-da! Thanks for watching. Let us know what you think in the comments below. You can follow us on Twitter at Cultaholic. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Cultaholic. And if you enjoy what we do here at Cultaholic, you can play us to our Patreon page, patreon.com/Cultaholic. Hit subscribe and join us